The Edge at 11 starts now.
It's one of the most anticipated criminal cases in the country. Tomorrow, the trial begins against the mother of the Oxford High School shooter.
Jury selection was actually completed today for Jennifer Crumbley, and it was not an easy task. Let's get live to Fox News' Jessica Dupnack. She joins us with more on the chosen jurors and how they'll play a role in this case. Jessica.
Roop and Taryn, per usual, cameras were not allowed in the courtroom during jury selection, but we were able to monitor what was going on the last couple of days. Now, this all started with a pool of 340 potential jurors. They started with a questionnaire based on how they answered those questions. They were either dismissed at that point or brought into the courtroom to answer questions from a judge, prosecutors, and defense attorneys. Then they had to fill those questions. A lot of them had to revolve around guns, mental health, and those were tough questions to answer. Based on that, it was all whittled down to 17. That's 12 seated jurors and 5 potentials.
What's fascinating is that this has never been done.
Charging manslaughter against Jennifer Crumbley for a school shooting her son committed. Defense attorney Todd Perkins is not involved in this case, but he's been weighing in since the beginning here on Fox 2. This time we talked jury selection as it wrapped up Wednesday after 2 days.
The first thing you want in a juror is someone who's going to be truthful to the questions that you asked them during the course of voir dire, which is the process that took place over the past couple of days.
The pool started with 340 potential jurors and was whittled down to a selection of 17. 5 of those alternates, 10 women and 7 men. Making the cut, a teacher, a former police officer, a physician. Many of the jurors have children.
I have a lot of hesitation that jurors will be able to remove themselves emotionally.
Voir dire questioning from Judge Cheryl Matthews, prosecution and defense, stayed on the topics of guns, mental health, and parenting. Of the final jurors, many are gun owners. 4 were dismissed based on their answers to gun-related questions. The pool was asked about parenting style, specifically hovering, and how much parenting is appropriate. The judge Wednesday giving some jury instruction regarding the inflated media coverage of the case, saying, quote, "You've heard lots of things about the shooting, but very little about this case."
You're not going to get a complete jury panel that's not going to know about this case. This case is something that we know around the world. I don't think running from the case and moving it might be the answer.
Attorney Perkins says he believes this comes down to proving to the jurors whether or not Jennifer Crumbley was negligent and could have foreseen her son would act the way he did.
Once you get opening statements, you're going to get a little peek into where everybody's going.
Those opening statements begin tomorrow at 9 o'clock. We will be allowed inside the courtroom, and we'll be streaming those proceedings both on our website and on the Fox 2 app. Now, as far as the shooter's father, James Crumbley, he will stand trial. Also, a date for that has not yet been set. Reporting live, Jessica Dupnack on The Edge.
You know, you talk a little bit about the shooter himself. He made it very clear during the sentencing that he acted alone, and I think in that sentencing he basically said, hey, you know what, nobody else is responsible for what I did but myself. And you wonder how much of a factor that could play moving forward as to whether or not he'll even testify.
And that is fresh on everyone's mind. Also, Rope, his attorneys are advising him not to testify in his parents' cases because he is going to appeal. Again, remains to be seen, but his attorneys advising him to keep quiet for now.
Jessica Dupnack for us live tonight. Thank you. You know, you can watch the trial starting at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning on fox2detroit.com. And, of course, tune in for full recaps on all of our editions of Fox 2 News. We have this very important story covered from morning till night.
Well, also tonight, many knew it was coming, but it really, for some, still hurts. Tonight, Michigan football coach Jim Harbaugh is leaving the school to coach in the NFL.
Fox 2's Lauren Edwards has reaction from campus on Harbaugh's new gig with the LA Chargers.
Campus is a little empty right about now, and we think it's due to all of this dreary weather, but we did catch up with some fans over at the Brown Jug here on campus, and they say, you know what, they're sad to see him go, but they thank him for his time here in Ann Arbor. Fans have been packing the big house for 9 seasons, watching and just witnessing Jim Harbaugh in his excellency. He is legendary around here, and he reached that tentative deal with the Los Angeles Chargers, so you know fans are going to be packing it out there, but here he will forever be a legend, especially after taking them to the national championship and winning that title game. So again, the fans we spoke with said that they are sad to see him go, but they wish him well.
You see the hat? He did his job here. He won a national title for us, first one in what, 27 years, 26, 7 years. This is his chance to prove again that he can do it at the next level. Go win a Super Bowl.
I'm very sad to hear that he's leaving. He's a wonderful guy. I don't care about stealing plays. I think that's part of the game, and I think it got us to the national championships.
It's pretty crushing as a student, especially. We were pretty excited for next season, especially with going into the new alignment and everything like that and having a bunch of big opponents. So definitely going to hurt to have him gone, but I think Sharon's going to be a good step up. I think passing the torch, he kind of hinted on it. I think we're going to be in good hands with him. And definitely like a somber mood around the campus right now for sure. You know, he was such a great guy for our university. He's a great man. He represents a lot of the Michigan qualities that we have. And we wish him nothing but the best in his next chapter with the Chargers.
Now, when I asked these same fans who do they want to fill his shoes, they immediately all said Sharon Moore. They say he has what it takes to continue the winning ways here in Ann Arbor. I'm Lauren Edwards on The Edge.
All right, weather-wise, another night of dense fog looms over Metro Detroit.
You know, it is pretty eerie out there. And it's going to look like this for a while then, and also all that rain, right, Rich?
Yeah, we have more rain in the forecast and more fog. It is a dreary pattern. We don't have a lot of upper-level winds to come across and push this low cloud pattern out of here. So what you see is what you're going to get. Another area of low pressure is building down south. This is going to come up and bring us more rain for tomorrow evening and especially Thursday night. We did have a rainy day today. A lot of us picked up about 3/10 of an inch of rain, but notice most of it has edged off to the east. Still some low clouds and drizzle out there. Just a few showers in mid-Michigan. Here's that dense fog advisory. This continues through 11 a.m. Thursday. So at times, we will see those visibilities way down there below 1/4 mile. You can see where the rain is. A few wet flakes mixing in between Grand Rapids and Saginaw. That's a long way from us. 39 and 33, your high and low today. So the melting continues. Here are your averages. Here are your records. There's your rainfall total at the airport, just under 3/10. Right now, a lot of us in the mid to upper 30s. These numbers are going to hold steady, may actually rise just a wee bit, getting close to sunrise. But here are the visibilities with the fog down around 0 in Pontiac. A lot of us have visibilities close to 1 mile, so it's going to be soupy for the rest of tonight. Not a lot of wind. In fact, wind is not a big player in the forecast. The warm air is to our south. It is somewhat cooler to our north, but even way up there around Marquette, 32 degrees. One area of low pressure is out of here tonight. The next area of low pressure comes our way tomorrow evening and tomorrow night with more wet weather, and some of that may linger into your Friday morning. So areas of fog and drizzle, soupy weather for the rest of tonight, down to 35, back to 40 tomorrow. So we're not worried about icy roadways, that's for sure. In fact, it stays rather cloudy into early next week. We need some sunshine. Perhaps early next week we'll see a bit. Remember, always get the latest forecast. Check it out, the Fox 2 Weather app. You can download it for free anytime, including right now in the App Store or in Google Play. Root Taryn, we'll see you at 4 a.m.
All right, Rich, good stuff. Thank you. Governor Gretchen Whitmer laying out her wish list for 2024.
Her State of the State address touched on lowering costs, economic development, and education for all.
In our next budget, let's make the first 2 years of community college in Michigan tuition-free for every high school graduate.
The address received plenty of applause from Democrats, while the GOP side of the room remained silent and seated. The governor also touched on inflation and insisted President Biden is not to blame.
I cannot solve global inflation alone. No one person can, not even a president. If you meet someone who says they have a secret plan to fix inflation, run the other way.
In the Republican response, State Senator Eric Nesbitt said that the governor took a victory lap while our friends and neighbors are struggling. If you missed it, you can watch the entire State of the State address on our website, fox2detroit.com.
And so what are state lawmakers saying about tonight's address?
Well, Fox 2's Dave Kinchin continues our team coverage from Lansing with reaction.
It was State of the State Address number 6 for Governor Gretchen Whitmer, where she called for new spending and investments in education, including pre-K, backing federal investment for more construction jobs and manufacturing, rebates for new cars and EV purchases, more spending to build and rehab homes, and tax credits for caregivers assisting aging and sick relatives. We caught up with State House Speaker Joe Tate of Detroit and asked him what it really means for Detroit moving ahead.
Yeah, I think what the governor proposed is just what we're building on, the work that we've done as a Democratic majority in 2023. We sent over 300 bills for the governor to sign to become public acts, so everything of putting money back in people's pockets to creating safe and strong communities with gun violence reduction and so on and so forth. So I think continuing to put people first is something that we want to do.
But state Republicans from our area say they have questions about the cost of Whitmer's proposals.
A lot of free stuff, so I'm always curious about who's paying for that, and something about the housing of $1.4 billion. I hope it's not like the Marshall plant where we gave out $1.7 billion, which is right now on hold. So I'm curious about that type of handout.
Well, how do you approach that with the House now being at an even split?
Right. I think we can continue that work. We've already laid a foundation in terms of what we've been able to do. The majority of the bills that we passed out of the House have been bipartisan. So I think that leads us into those opportunities.
Meantime, Republicans have been talking going into this about a tax cut of some kind. Do you think there will be some tax relief for Michiganders out there?
I can't tell you. I can tell you this. This governor in 5 years has gone from $57 billion to over $80 billion. So anytime she tells you she's going to give you something, please be advised she'll be taking something. It really is kind of like that game where you take the 3 cups and you move the ball around. It doesn't come out of thin air.
Republicans in the legislature say they're moving forward with their plan to provide economic relief for Michiganders. Meantime, the governor, for her part, she will continue to work on plans for the state budget proposals, and we will keep you updated as all of that comes down. Dave Kinchin in Lansing on The Edge.
President Biden getting a major endorsement today.
The United Auto Workers revving up its support for the 46th president.
I could not be more proud or more honored that you've chosen to stand with me.
He heard the call, and he stood up, and he showed up.
UAW President Shawn Fain making the announcement at the union's biannual conference in D.C. It comes months after Biden made history, joining striking workers on the picket line, a first for U.S. president. Fain also took a swipe at former President Donald Trump, calling him a scab who only represents billionaires. The Lions are all the buzz, and General Motors certainly knows it. Listen to this. The automaker is actually delaying the start time of third shift Sunday night so workers can watch the NFC Championship game between the Lions and the 49ers. Third shift normally starts at 9:45. Now they'll start at 10:45. The plant is the only GM facility in Michigan that operates on Sundays.